One day a young man was standing in the middle of the town, proclaiming that he had the most beautiful hut in the whole way. A large crowd gathered and they all admired his hut, for it was perfect. There were not a mark or a flaw in it. Yes, they all agreed it truly was the most beautiful hut they had ever seen. The young man was very proud and boasted more loudly about his beautiful hut. Suddenly, an old man appeared at the front of the crowd and said, "Why, your hut is not nearly as beautiful as mine." The crowd and the young man looked at the old man's hut. It was beating strongly but full of. It had places where pieces had been removed and other pieces put in, but they did not fit quite right, and there were several jagged edges. In fact, in some places there were deep gaps where whole pieces were missing. The people stared. How could he say his heart is more beautiful? They thought. The young man looked at the old man's heart and saw its states and laughed. "You must be joking," he said. "Compare your heart with mine. Mine is perfect and yours is a mess of scars and tears." "Yes," said the old man, "yours is perfect looking, but I would never trade with you. You see, your scars represent a person to whom I have given my love. I tear out a piece of my heart and given it to them, and often they give me a piece of their heart which fits into the empty place in my heart. But because the pieces are not exact, I have some rough edges which I cherish because they remind me of the love we shared. Sometimes I have given pieces of my heart away, and the other person has not returned a piece of his heart to me. These are the empty gawks giving love it taking a chance. Although these gawks are painful, they stay open, reminding me of the love I have for these people too. And I hope someday they may return and fill the space I have waiting so now to do. You see what true beauty is. The young man stood silently with tears running down his cheeks. He walked up to the old man, reached into his perfect young and beautiful heart and ripped a piece out. He offered it to the old man with trembling hands. The young man looked at his heart, not perfect anymore, but the more beautiful than ever. Since love from the old man's heart flowed into his, they embarrassed and walked away side by side. The young man looked at his heart, not perfect anymore, but more beautiful than ever. Since love from the old man's heart flowed into his, they embarrassed and walked away side by side. Physical perfection is not always beauty.